Okay, this is the example of the final presentation that you're going to do for your evaluation. Este es como un ejemplo de la presentación final que ustedes pueden hacer para la evaluación de inglés. You have to describe an experience. You have to describe an experience. It can be a trip you have made in your life or an activity that you want to share. You can record a video or a PowerPoint presentation with audio or video. Describe the trip or activity, when it happened, where, who were with you, what you like about it, what you didn't like about it. If you ever will do it again, you have to use the present perfect and the simple past to describe. Use words and images to do your presentation because both will be evaluated, and at least it must last 1 minute. Deben de describir una experiencia. Puede ser un viaje a donde hayan ido, alguna actividad que hayan hecho, un lugar que hayan visitado. Pueden grabar un video o un PowerPoint con audio o video donde van a describir el viaje o la actividad, cuándo sucedió, dónde fue, quiénes iban con ustedes, qué les gustó, qué no les gustó, si ustedes lo harían de vuelta. Van a usar el presente perfecto y el pasado simple para hacer las descripciones. Deben de usar enunciados, oraciones e imágenes porque les voy a evaluar las dos y debe durar por lo menos 1 minuto. Here is the example of the presentation. I'm going to speak about my trip to Guanajuato. I have been in Guanajuato just once in my life. It was in the year 2000 and I went on a school trip when I was in high school with some friends and the teachers from the school. In my trip to Guanajuato, first we went to a place called León, and it was called the Independence Trip because we were supposed to visit the most important places where the independence was done, or the big events of the independence. And the first stop was at León, Guanajuato, and we went ice skating. We also went to a mall, and in that mall they sold like belts and all things that has to do with leather. Then we went to a place called the statue of the PIPILA, which is a lookout destination where you can see all the city of Guanajuato. There were a lot of stairs and the place were really small and crowded, and we had to get through these stairs like, I don't know, they were like from iron. It wasn't really good, the spot, and we walked through all the statue onto the top, and we could see the city, not where you can see all the people here, but you went through the stairs into this place and you get like into that place really, really high, and you can see all the city of Guanajuato from there. We also went to the Callejón del BESO, which is a place that has a history because there were like 2 lovers and their families didn't want them to be together, and at night they went out and they kissed from their balconies. And those were the friends that were with me from Navojoa, and we had like a great time. And there was also the Cervantino Festival, which is similar to the Callejoneadas that are in Alamos. And I remember that we walked a lot and there were a lot of stairs everywhere and all the streets were too tight and there were a lot of people. Then we went to the Juarez Theater. In that place, we just took the picture because we didn't get into that place. I don't know why it's called the Juarez Theater, but I believe that it's because Benito Juarez. And we went to that place because in front of the theater, there were a lot of restaurants. I think they still are in that place. And there were like water fountains and things like that. And you could eat like really delicious food. And they have like all types of food in that place. And there are a lot of tourists every year. We also went to the Mummies Museum. That was my first and my last experience. I wish I will never go back there. I didn't like it. It smelled really, really bad. Like, I don't know, like rotten stuff because of the mummies, I believe. And When I went there, it was the year 2000, so the mummies were all laid out, like they were sleeping. And a month ago, one of my friends went there with her child, and the mummies are like standing up. And I remember that at the beginning of the museum, there are places where they spoke about the torture of the Christians many years ago, and there were like these instruments that they used to torture people, and I didn't like them. And like the mood inside of that place, it's like, I don't know, like dark, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. And at the end, we also went to Mexico City, but I couldn't find the pictures. And we went to the Archaeological Museum, where there is like many archaeological stuff from stones and that things. And I got sick in the trip, so I didn't enjoy the rest of the trip. And there was the year 2000, so Fox was the president, and they took her mandatory that day. And there were many places that we couldn't visit, like the Basilica and Castillo de Chapultepec and so many other places. So the teachers decided to change the schedule, and we went to Mazatlan for 2 days, and we went to the beach, and it was December, but the weather was really cool. And she was the teacher. Her name was Jessica Poon, and she was the art history and English teacher. And there were also this guy who was from Denmark, I believe, and he speaks Danish and English and a little bit of Spanish, and he didn't smell good either. I remember that his name was Lars, and he was nice. He was a nice guy, and he was an interchange student from the Rotary International Club. And we had a great time. I think I would like to visit Guanajuato again, because there were many places that I didn't go when we went. And I don't know. I don't know if I could go back in time. Maybe I would do other stuff, because we went to Six Flags and I didn't get into any of the attractions because I don't like it. But we went to a TV show also that was called Otro Rollo, and it was really famous. And I remember that we we saw Christina Aguilera in the show, so it was really cool. And that's all about the trip. So this is the example of what you can share with your presentation, and this will be your final evaluation. But if you want, you have the option to make the test also. Okay, entonces pueden hacer una presentación de esta manera, o si quieren, pueden presentar el examen como ustedes gusten.